Okay, I'm here with my Kiwi father-in-law, Jeffrey Livingstone.
Hello, hello.
What are we looking at?
A PDQ 32 with the
What
twin.
year?
It's a 95. It has the twin diesels. Most of them came out with twin 9.5 outboards, so it's a little bit different. And I bought it in kind of a neglected state. Actually, a little bit more neglected than this. It's still neglected looking, but it's a work in progress.
What's the beam on it?
16 foot and 32 foot in length. Draws just over 3 foot.
So what's the depth here?
At the dock, I think we've got about 6, but just
Okay.
over there we've got a very shallow spot and could only get out at high tide. So it's a good spot to work on a boat, not necessarily to day sail out of. So.
And what we've got here is anchor locker?
Yeah, that came out of this space here because the bow roller got bent. To get that out, I had to take the anchor locker out to turn into a project. And there's also a collision bulkhead in that locker there, which is accessible from that hatch. And that was plywood, and that was rotten. But the rest of the boat, there is no wood coring. It's all resin cord.
Yeah.
So at least that's not an issue with this boat, delamination or moisture intrusion. So.
Now what's the beam here in the front, in the bow?
What's the beam there?
Yeah, what is
16. It's 16. At the widest point, which is probably back here in the middle, it's 16.
No, that's not what I meant.
What? Oh,
it almost looks like a portion of the mast.
Oh, well,
what's that for?
Compression strut. Basically, okay. You've got a dolphin striker on there so that the upwards pressure from the forestay doesn't distort.
Gotcha. And this probably helps the trampoline probably helps with water coming, striking up,
well, rather
upwards,
than having
right?
A solid foredeck.
Yeah.
It allows the water to come through if the nose starts to bury. Because most of the small cats of this size, like the Gemini, the Prout, and other ones, have a solid foredeck.
They do, huh?
So this is sort of unusual to have. I mean, you get the advantage of having more deck space, but the trade-off is, a little bit of a trade-off in seaworthiness. So,
well, probably hence the reason for your strut here.
Yeah. Oh,
right?
yeah, exactly. That up there, that little locker is actually a propane locker. There's 2.
It's a good place for it.
Propane bottles there. I had a small size. They're only 11-pound bottles, tall and narrow. It would have been nice to get 20-pound bottles in there, but I couldn't. I've replaced the plexiglass, the dark plexiglass. I did a good job on those 3 and the 3 on the other side. These 3, not so good cosmetically. They are watertight, but I didn't put enough caulking on, and you can actually see through the plexiglass.
What's with the holes around the plexiglass and the fiberglass? What's that from?
Over there.
And on this side too.
Yeah, they had speakers.
Oh, that's what those were.
And it was weird, and that was stupid. I didn't need those. So I just plugged up those holes. I had a couple of holes down on the hull here with things.
Yeah.
So
just epoxy or did you put glass on it too?
A little bit of cloth, light cloth, and I obviously need to do a cosmetic repair. It's already starting to weather there. I need to get some colour over that. Break. It's not so good having the epoxy exposed.
Well, let's go board.
Yep. Dinghy davits, which are here. I'll need some blocks, obviously, to lift the dinghy.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got you've got the steps and the transom.
I saw that. Yeah.
You've got a ladder over here to get out of the water. And there is actually I think in the top step there's actually a shower, pull-out shower wand, which is kind of nice to rinse off. And then you've got lockers here, which go right through, and there's a wooden. There's a shelf there. Below that, there's that solid rod that connects the rudders.
Yeah.
Because this is the steering rudder. The wire goes to that, or the quadrant, and then it's just a solid rod across to connect this one. So basically, you steer off that one, and this one follows along. So and then you have those inspection things. You take those off, that'll give you the top of the rudder. So if you for an emergency rudder,
nice, yeah.
There, I think you use that one. See that one's smaller?
Right.
I think that's the one. I've got a big piece of 90-degree stainless up on, on the bow. That's where you'd operate if your steering goes to hell. So you got a couple of little solar vents here, and then this is your diesel tank. Is actually under here. I never mounted that. That's interesting.
What's that?
For both, each engine has a separate fuel filter.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why it's sitting down there, but that's the new one. Is sitting here. I don't know why. I thought I'd. Wow, it's all dusty. Okay, interesting. It should be mounted up on this. I actually never got around to mounting it. That's a new big beast, which should sit here. And the diesel guy suggested I put this in. He says the filters are much cheaper than these cartridge ones. That's the one I remember. I told you I had you had a self-priming pump on it.
Sure. And
that's where I was leaking air. That's why I always had to bleed it. To me, probably big enough for a 400 horsepower diesel, and I've got two 18 horsepower diesels. So down here, this is the for the pump, the hand-operated bilge pump is here. I changed out. I didn't. There's a Y valve there. So I think
you got it manifolded?
Yeah, there's a Y valve there. I didn't replace that. I replaced the actual pump, which sits here.
Right.
That was going, and so it draws from the bottom of each hull. So you've got to switch it over manually down there to get to each hull. So
Jeffrey, did you kill the alligator?
Which alligator?
The one that you got in a fight with that gave you the foot injury?
Yeah.
Is he boots now?
Yeah, he's
luggage?
Dead. He's dead.
Yeah.
So coming to that cockpit here, then now I'm in the process. Yeah, that's a bit of a killer there. You got to watch your head. I'm replacing the reason this is here is that I'm replacing the plexiglass door. What happens is they craze, much like the hatch tops do. I can change these out.
Sure.
You basically just got to take them out and you can get a new piece put in. And I've got a great place here in Stewart that'll do it. This boat has two double cabins, and they're basically here and here. So you've got a lot of ventilation. You've got 1, 2, 3, I think 4, 5 opening vents. I don't think these are even locked. So that gives you access down, full of crap, because that's the aft cabin down there. And then you've got lockers under here in the engine. Yeah, that one's broken.
Oops.
Yeah. See if you can close it. I don't even know if I can. I'm hoping I can find a used one for that, because the whole mechanism, this part here, is broken.
I see.
So I don't quite know what. You see, that's all broken. I mean, I bought it like that, so I'm not quite sure. I'm hoping I can find something that'll fit here, obviously, to match. Or here. Unfortunately, most of the stuff is out. Like a lot of the. But come on down here. So the other side is the galley. This is the head. There's just one single head. So I couldn't. This was awkward. I don't know how the hell they put it in. How they got to the bolts underneath it. I replaced all the hoses, but I was going to actually replace the toilet, but I couldn't get the base off. So these are all flat panel plywood, and you can just take them off with these screws, and it gives you access to all the stuff behind it, like the electrical. And if you can see in here in the head, I'll come in. It opens up. It gives you access. So we're looking at now. Okay. There's a water tank.
Right.
So that's a salon seat.
Right.
And so you get access to all the plumbing. I had a leak. I replaced and I think this is a pressure tank for the water system here. There's two water tanks.
Is there a water maker?
No water maker. No water maker. See, this is the structure of the boat. You see that?
Yeah.
It's not. It's like the Iron Packet. It's not. There's no wood. It's a resin core.
Nice.
which, you know,
heavy but strong.
yeah. Well, I don't know. It's heavy. It may be a bit heavier, but it's not going to delaminate over time. So this is the deck fill here. Is right there for the water tank. There's another one. Oh, there's another one down lower. So this actually has 2 water tanks. I think I got a total of 90 gallons of water. So it's not too bad. Yeah. So all these things come out. You see, I've taken them loose because I wanted to get at things.
Sure.
I can't remember what I used that to get at, but you know, all the bright work needs refinishing. Some of it's in a bad state.
And back here we got the aft cabin and the engine room.
Yeah. And this is the navigation station. That's what that amounts to.
Well, right there?
You've got a table, yeah.
So
and you've got a slot under here, you can put your maps.
Okay.
Your charts. And so, you know, very basic. Your electrical panel is here. It does have 2 solar panels.
Okay.
For charging, which is nice. So it's all pretty original.
It's all DC, or has it got AC too?
It's got, well, yeah, it's got 120 AC power here if you're plugged in, and the rest of it's just 12 volt.
So when you plug in, the entire system runs off AC, and then when you're out, it runs off DC.
Yeah, exactly. And there is a battery charger. I think that's underneath the surround seat. Actually, quite a large one. That's my only 12 volt outlet. I have to put another one in there.
Yeah,
and nowadays for you know, for your 12 volt
so this one
and everything.
This is one of your diesels.
Yep, that's the little diesel. They're both, you know, Yanmar 2GM20F.
4 cylinders?
No, 2 cylinders.
2 cylinders.
Fresh water cooled. So there's no salt water going through the block, which is nice. Excuse me.
Oh, so this isn't joined. There's 2 of these cabins.
No, 2 cabins, which is quite nice. I mean, for this size of boat, you've got good size. And at the back there is the hot water heater on that shelf. That's where that goes. It's a square.
Right there.
Box.
That one.
Well, no, down in the cavity. It's not there.
Oh, I see. I see what you're saying.
It's on that shelf. I took it out. It's completely rusty.
Got it.
So that's done with a heat exchanger off this engine.
So these all have new shafts, new couplings, new cutlass bearings.
New cutlass bearings, new props.
Yeah.
So everything other than the engine mounts, which apparently had been done, you know.
Now your stuffing box here, is this the...
That's that dripless one.
This is the dripless, so it's water cooled.
Yes.
With this hose here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I want to redo the headlining in here. It's all coming off. It's sort of a, you know, carpet nylon thing.
Yeah.
In fact, the guy that did the screens up the top.
I mean, I don't even have headlining.
No. I mean,
it's because if you get, I mean, yeah, it looks nice, but then you can't get to anything.
Well, there's nothing. No, everything's accessible through here.
Okay.
This is just onto the skin, so it's not going to, you know.
Oh, look, it gets mildewy and smelly.
Yeah, I know.
It's hard to clean.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, vinyl maybe you can live with, but.
Yeah. And underneath the floor, there's a very shallow bilge. There's sump pumps under there. I replaced those.
Under these floors here?
Yeah. And up here, there's one for the shower.
Right.
A shower bilge because
Nice.
it drains in there.
Sure.
You know, but I can't even get under the floor there. You know, some of these places, you know, you can't even get under. How to replace that fitting there, for example, on the floor.
You don't have to cut through the hull.
Well, exactly. That's the problem. I mean, they don't always. I mean,
Oh, so this is part of your autopilot?
Yes. Well, this is the steering here. This is the drive. And so I basically had to send, you know, just this unplugs. That's just a seal over that and taped up. But this is basically the drive here, going back to the starboard quadrant on the starboard rudder, and the piece on the outside sits on the wheel itself is what I had to send back to Ray Marine. It's got there's a rubberized belt. It fits around a wheel, and it just all disintegrated. I turned it on and went and fell apart. Little pieces started falling down. But actually the instruments do actually work. I've got sailing instruments, and they do actually work, which is kind of nice. I've got what do I have out here? Well,
Sharp water.
Yeah, and this is a really old one. I think I'll actually get rid of it. It's all very hazy. This is a newer one, but I think I really should take it off and dry it out. There was some, you see the screen is discolored. Unfortunately, this might be 10 years old. It's just not worth doing anything with it nowadays. It was a nice unit, but it's just not worth it. I think I've got a, what do I have?
Wait, why does your compass say do not use for navigation?
Oh, that's
Is a handy way of saying it's broken?
Well, don't
it's magnetic, right? It's not electric?
Yeah, it's magnetic. Yeah, so, yeah, I think I'll take this off. I'll probably take this off. I might even get a mount for my little iPad up here.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
I think the only thing this was nice, it was interfaced with the depth sounder.
If you're really adventurous, you might actually go for an Android.
Why would I do that?
Because they're better.
Interesting.
Not for, I mean, if you're an iPhone, an iPad user, then...
No, yeah, probably not.
I can respect that, but...
Interesting.
When you're ready to join the grown-up table,
yeah,
if you could get a Galaxy Note.
Yes.
So this is
I'm not going to come over there.
That's all right. Galley.
Galley, propane refrigerator, and propane stove, both of which I'll have to probably replace.
You know, I'm impressed because what you hear about, this is actually the first cat I've been on, and that wasn't a Hobie. And what you hear is that, there's no storage, there's no room, but this is very roomy.
Well, for a 32.
Yeah.
It's the probably the next size, up is the 32 Gemini, which they made a ton of.
And that's a PDQ as well?
No. Did you know? No. PDQ is actually a Canadian company. No longer, I don't think, in production.
I imagine that.
They stopped making sailboats. They started making power cats. And that was where the money was, but I think they're actually out of business now, unfortunately. So
what happens when you destroy the middle class?
Yeah, Galley. You've got the oven there, and that whole refrigerator. I actually got it working. It works, but it's not cooling. It's.
Well, then how do you say that it's working?
Well, it's not working well. It's not working as it should do. Okay, take that back. It's not doing what it
So I got the furnace going, but it's not warm. It's not heating.
Yeah. So, and you can drop the table down here to make another berth, but it's like most boats, they say I'll sleep 6 people.
I'm surprised that you left these as, now can you get 2 people back here?
Well, it's called a full size.
I suppose you can get 2 people.
Yeah, it's 80 by 55, I think.
Yeah, so I could stretch out on that. Okay.
So it's not bad.
But if you wanted like one large master cabin, I suppose you could join them, couldn't you? Or maybe not.
No, well, no, because you've got this. Thing is, they don't connect. They've got this. This one finishes here. This one starts here in the middle. So there's not a common wall. You got one side of the where the fuel tank is, the other side.
And I like your central salon here, saloon.
Yeah, but it's a nice deep.
All right, is it salon or saloon? Oh. I was raised on salon.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Salon. I probably call it salon.
I'm hearing it's called saloon now.
Yeah, and I have covers for these, mainly just to give you so you can look up at the sails.
All right, now where do you weigh in on plywood, marine or regular?
Well, I was using this for those collision bulkheads, so I'm going to totally wet it out with.
If you epoxy it, it should be fine, right?
Yeah, I think the marine is just a bit higher quality, but if it's totally sealed, it shouldn't be an issue.
Exactly.
I just don't think.
At least not for 20 years.
Exactly, and they certainly didn't do as good a job as I will, hopefully, on originally, and it lasted 20 years. That's got another cover over it, which was crazed. So it's cosmetic things like that, but you can see, the gel coat has lost its gloss.
Sure. Well, it's an old boat.
Exactly.
It was built when? 85?
95.
95.
So you can walk on the hardtop, which is nice, so you can get at your mainsail, to tie it away.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have left it on there. Actually, I wished I hadn't even put it up because it's been sitting there for 6 months, which I'm not.
Now you're running and you're standing rigging. Did you have to replace any of that?
No. He had a look at it when the guy went up the mast to, you know, to fit the sun.